Hi Woodturners, how are you? Jeff Burklow here. Going to do a video today on doing a hollow form. Been following Sam Angelo, the Wyoming woodturner, and watching his videos on hollow forms, and being just after Christmas, I got myself a Christmas present, which was the Carter hollow roller. So we're going to see how this works together, as I've never used it before, but I've seen all the reviews and tested one a little bit at the local woodcraft store here, so we're going to give it a try. Thanks for watching. And then a little bit about me. I'm here in the Chicago area. I'm a member of the American Association of Woodturners, and if you are planning on getting into turning, if you want to find more woodturners in your area, I would highly recommend joining the AAW. Go on. It's woodturner.org, I believe. I'll put a link to it in the comments video or comment section. And I'm a member of the Windy City Woodturners. It's a local chapter of the AAW. And again, if you're looking to get into turning, you're not going to find a more open group of people to share their knowledge, and you can generally attend one or two meetings before joining, and to get an understanding and talk to some of the folks and tap those resources. And again, the woodturners are people that you wouldn't imagine that how they want to share their skills and their knowledge. Okay, so let's get going here. So here's the piece of wood that we're going to test with. It's a piece of, I believe that it's maple, if I'm not mistaken. I've had it for a number of years. It's been drying in my shop for probably 6 to 7 years, and it was actually drying in someone's garage for at least 7 to 10 years that I know of. So I believe that it's sufficiently dry at this point. So we'll see how it works. So before we get started on the lathe, I'm going to go ahead and take it over to the bandsaw and take off these corners and kind of just true it up a little bit, get it to be a little bit more of a cylinder, so I don't have all those corners to knock off on the lathe. I have turned some of this wood before, and I can tell you one thing, that it is very, very hard. So we'll see how things go. Okay, so I'll give you a quick tour of my shop. I'll try to keep the camera as steady as I can here. I have a Powermatic 3520B, a cabinet with tools and other woodworking supplies and things like that there. I have a plastic curtain that I can open up, and it surrounds the lathe, and that way it keeps all the chips and stuff from getting all over the basement. My shop is in my basement, and so I try to keep it somewhat clean to keep as much stuff from tracking upstairs as I can. I also have a fan over the top that basically blows down, keeps the dust down, and I have a hose for my dust collector as well. My sharpening is a slow speed grinder. I just put that CBN wheel on, and it works phenomenally well. If it's something that they are expensive, but it's pretty much the last wheel that you'll buy, and the finish that it puts on your tools is just incredible. I also use the Wolverine jig for the platforms and all my sharpening. Quick shot around the rest of the shop. A bandsaw, 16-inch jet, and planer, my Festool Capex, a router station, 3.5 horse router joiner, my Powermatic 2000 table saw, and dust collector set up in the corner back there. Then I have 6-inch or 4-inch pipe running to all the stationary machines, and overhead air filtration as well. Again, like I said, this is in my basement, so I try to keep the dust down as best I can, but obviously you still get some in certain places. So that's it. So at this point, what I've done is I've got it set up with a spur drive, with a four-prong spur drive. Brought the tailstock up, got it centered. It's pretty well balanced. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit out of balance here. I put the guard on. I'm a big believer in using all the guards that come with the machines, and if you don't have to take them off, don't. I will eventually take it off once I get it round and the piece is stable, and I'm not going to see, there is some checking that's gone on here, and there's a pith right here, so not sure, if that's checked all the way through or not, so we'll leave the guard on until we know that we're past that point and able to, we're sure that there's not going to be any pieces flying off of there. I do wear a full UVEX face shield, and that's another thing that I would recommend, that if you're going to get into turning, get a good face shield. The UVEX one is really good. I'll try and put some links to some suppliers in the on the video as well. Okay, so it's probably not going to be that easy for you to see right now until we, I'll try and set the video up, but with the guard in place, it's probably going to be a little bit difficult, but we'll see what we can do. So what I'm doing right now is I've got my one-way chuck in. I've got the number 3 jaws on it. Right now it's loose, and what I did was I put the piece inside there, brought my tailstock up, and then was able to just get it set, make sure that the piece is in there true, and now we'll go ahead and we've got a good connection at the jaws up against the piece. It's not bottomed out. There's a gap so that we're not bottoming out on the chuck, and we'll go ahead and crank her down. Always do both sides, and one more time just to be sure. Okay, that up there, check. Looks like we're running nice and true. And the jaws, there's not a big gap in between the jaws. There's a nice gap. It's not sticking way out past the body of the chuck. So I think we're good. I think we've got exactly what we're looking for here. And I think we're ready. We'll go ahead and face up the front. There is a small crack right here, but I think it'll be okay. We'll bring that down a little bit more. We'll get our hole drilled, and we'll see if that's going to need to get cleaned up. I'll leave it for now until the hole is drilled, and then we can decide from there what we're going to do. So I guess I'm really going to cheat here. I got an 1 3/8 bit. I have an 1 1/8 spade bit, but I don't want to go too deep on there. So we'll give this a try and see what it's like. Okay, well, I just cleaned it out again and checked the depth, and we're getting into the infamous one last cut area. So I moved the camera back so in case it does have a blowout, it's not going to go flying and blow up my camera as well. Okay, so at this point I've broken down the hollower, and it seems pretty, you know, it's got a nice sound to it. So I'm going to take it off, mark these just in case. So basically what I'm doing is I'm marking the #1 jaw, and if I've got to remount it, I know exactly where it was. Bottom still has quite a bit of heft to it. I thought that it was going to be lighter than what it is for as dry as it is, but I'm going to end up turning down this base for the most part, and you know, I think taking this off and then shaping it down a little bit is going to take the rest of that weight off. So far so good. Right now it's, you know, I'll do some hand sanding on it a little bit later after I turn it again, and we'll see. So right now I'm going to try some different some different methods to re-chuck it, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I ended up, to get it clamped up to be able to turn the bottom of it, I tried a couple different things and found the best way. It was just going to be a combination of using my vacuum pump. It's not my design. I will put a link to where I got the plans for it in the video as well, but it's worked out great to have it. So basically, and then I made a housing for the back, and then I made all the couplers, and it seems to be holding just well. It's turning true, so see if we can get the bottom turned up.